Okay, I'm ready to add the elastic closure to this notebook, and there is the final cover. I decided to go with just the two flowers. Jean from Sew It Themes, she said about, yeah, it should be like in groups of three, but I think I'm just going to stick to two. I think that looks okay. Looks kind of simple, and it does have this huge image. So anyways, enough babbling about that. And here's my signature, but I'm going to wait to add that because I'm going to put an eyelet in the journal. So let me show you here. Here's a Christmas one I did. You can see the eyelets back here. Now when I do like ones with beads, and I'll show you that. Actually, I might have one with beads on it. Here's the journal with beads, and when I do it with beads, I put it in the front because I'm afraid, like, you know, you'll set it down, but it could be in the back, but just to prevent anything from happening. So I guess it's just a personal preference. I started out in the front, and then when I started just going to adding a simple charm, I started putting the eyelet then in the back. Alright, so there's an example of both. I like it though because you don't have to worry about keeping track of your closure. It's right there with you all the time. Alright, so let's do this one. There's the beads I was talking about. So anyways, let me put these away. You have this tool, right? Well, you can't use it because you're going in the middle of the journal. So put that one away if you have it. And break out your eyelet setter. And you need a good old-fashioned hammer. So I have two here. This one I prefer. This one came in a set with all of these, and I got this at Joann's, and it was less than, I think it was like $5.87, but I had a coupon if I remember correct. I mean, it's been a while. So it came with all these little containers. These are recollections. I got these at Michael's, and then this is another set of eyelets I got somewhere. But and that's what this one came with. But then I found this one at Tuesday Morning on clearance, and I believe it has different, no, I thought it had different sizes, so I don't know what this is for. I use it as an eyelet setter. It's probably a snap, so I don't know. And then to make my hole, I use my Martha Stewart thing. I'm looking for it. I use this right here. I picked this up at Tuesday Morning. This is the one I'm thinking it has different tools in it, so it has different size holes. And I'll show you how this works. Piece of paper, please. See there, and then you see the piece of paper in there. So that's basically what I do. So I kind of eyeball it up. Let me move my stuff here. Boy, my desk is always a mess. Oh, and then I'm going to spray it with that. That's why I have that sitting there. So I eye up where I want my eyelet to go. And I'm thinking about where my holes are going to be. And if I go with a 4-hole punch, I kind of want to do it more in the middle so that, you know, I don't want my elastic to rest right over the hole. I kind of want it in between. So I'm going to go with the 4-hole pamphlet stitch, and so I'm just going to kind of put it probably right in here. and I just made my hole. When you're actually doing it, I know I'm like taking forever, but I don't usually take that long. And I think too, if I want to put a pocket in, I don't, depends on how high I want the pocket, but it'll probably be no bigger or no, like more than that if I put one in. This paper is really cute. It's going to be hard to cover up all these little owls and hedgehogs and deer. So you see there, it gives you a little bit of, depending on how many layers of paper you have, it gives you a little bit of hard time getting through. And I'm going right through that, but I don't care. Then I get my hole puncher thing and see how well it is. Kind of mess with it. I want to keep that as clean as possible because I am setting an eyelet in it, and I don't want sorry about that, I'm setting an eyelet in it, so I don't want like extra paper hanging off of it, I guess, like being able to see the hole just with the eyelet on it. Look, I found the letter, and I was stamping today. Alright, so this is the part where this comes into play. You pick your color eyelet, and I have some blue ones here, some baby blue ones, so maybe we'll pull one of those out. I'm going to grab this tool. These actually have the washer, so you have your eyelet, and then you have your little washer. So there's that. And you want to keep the good part, the decorative part on the outside where you're going to see it. So there, it's on the outside. I'm going to flip it over. Put my washer on it. And then I have my hammer here, again Tuesday morning. And sometimes I get my big hammer, but this is my little one I keep at my desk, and it works just fine. And I'm going to set that. So I will do this real quick off camera, and I'll be right back. So I secured my eyelet with the hammer I have here, and you can see there, that's the washer that's around it. And then basically you bust that eyelet around it so it secures. And then there's the back. One thing you have to be careful of, if you keep hammering it, it will smash that kind of out and flat. That may be the look you want, but it will also kind of mess up the paint on the eyelet. So also, while I was doing that, I took advantage of the cover being just a cover, and I applied some of this Mod Podge clear acrylic sealer in the matte. I picked this up at Walmart. I don't do it to all my journal covers, but ones that are kind of light like this, I know will pick up fingerprint dirt and stuff like that. It just gives that extra layer, and it almost feels like a more satin touch, for lack of a better word. And I just apply a light coat. So that's done. Alright, let me get that back out of the way. So next I take my elastic cord and whatever you have, and I just do a rough measurement. Measure from like where the eyelet is to the edge of the book, and you gotta remember the stretches, so like that's too much. And after you do a couple of them, you get the hang of when you have too much and when you have too little. cut it, and then I go in from the back, or I guess it doesn't matter as long as you keep this out here, and then you're going to have this in here. And then I'm going to knot that. I guess really I don't need to do it that way. I could do it and then feed this through, but I don't know. Call me silly. Just how I do things. Sometimes the hard way. My problem is making a knot. And I'm trying to keep my cord straight as well, because that will twist, and you don't want it to twist because you'll never get that twist back out. And once you get it, you can pull it nice and tight. There we go. Now it's not going to go anywhere. And it will hold your book securely in place. So you can get a rough idea of what it will look like with our signature in. Like that. Not too thick. Perfect for a month or even a couple months planning out, jotting your thoughts, writing a schedule. And I'm going to sew this in next, but let me think a second. I guess I can put my holes in now. So let me make sure everything's upright. Chloe's being loud. That's the only hesitation I have to keep filming, but it'll just be a loud video. I'm going to clip everything together, including my cover. I could do a hidden spine if I wanted to, but no, I'm going to do an exposed. I really like how that cover turned out. I did glue those stems down too. Let me move some stuff. Get my template. So I am doing the pamphlet stitch. I'm going to do 4 holes. That goes there. Get that stuff out of the way. Get my binding out of the way. And then I'm going to move to this waxed linen. One, 2, 3. I'm going to do 3.5 because it is a 4 stitch. Probably like 3 3/4, because I'm more about having too much and not enough. And let me grab my little styrofoam thing. This thing, again, it came from a piece of furniture. We purchased a nightstand, and you want to make sure you don't get your cord in the way. And let me get my washi tape ready. So there, I'm going to get a piece of washi tape to secure my string, because you remember last time I pulled it the whole way back through. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, you know what? One thing I wanted to say too, you're like, well, Gretchen, you could just pull that right through on the other side. But once you put some charms on there, it will be physically impossible to pull it through. You can pull it like that, but it won't come through because the charms will stop. That's why I like to have something on there. Now, if you just left it plain, yeah, you could pull it through and in and out the cord. So that's a tip I forgot to mention. So I'm thinking, what goes on? But you know, I'm used to like just working and you know, wait till the finished product, and then whoa, it all makes sense. Okay, I dropped something up there. Got my washi tape ready, got my signature clipped in. I have my template and making sure my signature is in the journal. I'm just going to go through everything at once. One, two. You see, I keep my finger the whole time. I don't move it. I don't dare move it because it will mess up your holes. Come up here and get this top one. Yeah. It just feels like it didn't go in enough, but I think we're good. Alright, remove our template. I gotta get my needle. This is the part where I really start getting sweaty at, because I know what's ahead of me and I know how much hassle it is to put a signature in. Oh, I get that. Many a time I've like had to start over again, or just got frustrated and I couldn't get my string right, or got done and I thought I was all done and clipped and knotted and it was loose. That's probably the worst. And this is going to be an exposed knot. So we start with the second hole. Again, this is the 4-hole pamper stitch. Where's my pliers at? I made hamburgers today, so I've washed my hands probably 10 times since then. But they still a little slippery. And I always seem to be a little weak. I could probably leave that down there if I wanted to do a dangle, but I probably won't. Let's make it my washi tape down. Come up to the first hole. See, I wondered about that. Remember we did this hole last? Usually I do the last one, but oh, we're good. Okay. It's either the first hole or the last hole that gives you the most difficulty. Work that through. Work, work. And you can hear that paper kind of tore a little bit, but I think we'll be okay. It's just a thinner type of paper that Kaiser Craft is. And then I'm going to pull that over and get that back in that second hole. Chloe has not been feeling good, so she is in rare form today. Kids have her upstairs. Come down to the third hole. Down to the fourth. And back up again. You don't want to catch that thread. You want to go off to the side, for lack of a better way of saying it. You just want to go through the same hole, but you don't want to catch your thread. Okay, and then I go through and I tighten my strings back up, hand tighten them as I'm feeling them to make sure they're taut. So there's your outside, and that feels still a little bit loose, but I'm going to take this washi tape off. I'm going to feed that under. One last check and then make my knot. But I'm going to wrap that up here because she is unhappy. And I don't want to subject you guys to all that in case you're trying to relax. And then voila, you got the elastic closure. So that's basically what the outside finished product is going to look like. Now I may take glue and just glue that down to hold that, so every time I use my elastic cord it doesn't pull that over, but I'll give it some thought. Alright, thanks for joining me. That's how I attach an elastic closure. Take care.